All right, hi guys, and welcome to another video. This is Conversations and Libations with Adora, and this is something new that I'm starting. This is going to be a series. So this is called Gold Digger, the female business owner series. So in this series, I will be interviewing a different entrepreneur, mainly Black women. And my first guest today is Yetta B. She is the owner and CEO of Flamingo Beauty Bar. Thank you, Yetta, so very much for joining me and being my first, I guess, interviewee. I don't know what it is.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. And like I said, her company, her business is called Flamingo Beauty Bar, and she's so beautiful. So of course, you guys probably can tell we're going to be talking about the beauty industry today. So Yetta, before we get started, this is Conversations and Libations with Adora. So everybody has to have a drink. Today I am drinking my fave, which is Crown Royal Peach, and I got a little Simply Peach in there. And Yetta, what are you drinking tonight?
Right now, I am sipping on Grey Goose and passion fruit with my little flamingo shirt.
So speaking of, let's just dive right in. So you just showed the little flamingo thing, and I see you have your card in the back with your logo, which is beautiful. And tell me, how did you come up with the name Flamingo Beauty Bar?
Well, I have this weird obsession with flamingos. For one, I know it's so corny. My favorite color is pink.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started to learn a little bit about the birds, they're very unique. Like one of the things I found out about them that I really thought was cute, I found out like when flamingos have a partner, they stay with the same mate for the rest of their lives.
Oh my God, really?
So it's just a few little cool facts. And I just always like birds. With flamingos, and I'm in Florida, so I just figured it was fitting.
Okay. And speaking of, so I know you're in Florida now, but tell us, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. I've been here probably the last 12 years. I lived in Cali for a while, but made my way back to Florida. So this is
okay. Now, how long? Because I know, of course, I know you're from Detroit. Because of course we know each other, and I love people from Detroit. I love people from Detroit. But I never knew that you used to live in California. How long did you live there?
Mm-hmm. I was in California maybe about 3 years. I went to school out there for a while. It sucked because when I lived out there, I had my own car, own place, was not old enough to do anything. Couldn't go to a club, do nothing.
Oh.
So I enjoy living out there because I like to be by the beach. So
okay, well, you're still by the beach, so I guess yeah. And I was gonna ask, what part of California? And like, because a lot of people that I know that have visited California, they don't really like it too much. And one of my friends that used to live here, he lives in California. He's always trying to get me to come out there, but I'm like, I don't know. It seems like it's a little superficial. No shade, no offense to anyone in California, but I don't know. I know you were there when you were younger, so I don't know if it's changed or.
I think that you should most definitely visit California. That's somewhere you should go. It's so big, so it's a lot of places to go.
Right.
When I lived there, we lived in San Diego for a while, and then I lived on Oceanside, which is near the military base. Okay. So I didn't experience the whole LA thing, but Oceanside was more like family oriented, just beach bumming every day. So it was real cool down to earth. Okay. So I didn't get to really explore like LA and do all that stuff. So.
Gotcha. So you're in Florida. You've been there for 12 years. Of course, I'm assuming you enjoy it, even though we hear all these crazy stories about Florida. And y'all was the first ones to open up, I think, right? Or y'all was the first ones to like open up y'all beach?
Opened before we did. No, I was just there, 2 weekends ago?
Right. So is Florida somewhere that you see yourself like staying forever? Or is there anywhere else you would like to move or live? And then keeping your business in mind too, because I'm assuming Florida is a good place for clientele, but is that somewhere that you plan on staying?
I see Florida being somewhere that I am going to root myself long term. I don't really think there's anywhere else I would want to live. As far as my business, it is a great place for my business. As I continue to grow and expand, I do want to open a location in Detroit. I feel like I have to take it back to my roots.
You got to. You have to. So so the people know if there's anyone in Florida and they want to patron your business, what area, and of course I'll put your website, your address of your business and all that stuff so people can check that out. But give us an idea of what part of Florida or what city in Florida is your business in.
My business is located in Orlando, so anyone
Oh,
who, yeah, like, let me see, where are we? If anyone knows where Disney SeaWorld is, I'm not far from Florida Mall, so we're located in that area. And I also work out of another studio that's in a city called Lake Mary, which is like a city outside of Orlando. But
oh.
I'm pretty much, if someone's coming, like, I'm in a central location where they can get to.
Okay, good. Sounds like it. So if any of you guys live in Florida, the Orlando area, or if you're visiting, Disney World's going to be opened up soon. I don't know if anybody going, but if you guys visit, definitely hit Yetta up. And I know you guys don't know like exactly where her business is yet. We're going to get to that. But before we get to that, as far as your business that you're doing now, tell us a little about your occupational background. Like what did you do before you decided to start your own business?
Ooh, okay. So before I decided to start Flamingo Beauty Bar, I was a dental assistant. I worked in the dental field for almost 10 years.
Mm.
So I was a dental assistant, also an insurance coordinator. So I have a dental background, which I loved. It was a really good field to work in. You learn a lot, you meet a lot of people. And it's just one of those fields that once you have that education behind you, no matter where you live, that's somewhere you can always, get a job in that field. So that's pretty much why I chose that background. So that's what I did for the last.
Absolutely. And I also think it's important, like one thing I'm learning now is you're going to have your up and downs when you start your own business. So you want something that you can fall back on. Not saying that, if you had to go back to doing the dental thing, you'll do it permanently. But if you're having a little slow season, or like I know this pandemic has affected a lot of people and they're having to rebuild their clientele, which we'll talk about that later, at least you have something to fall back on. You know what I mean? Just in case you need to. So that's really good. So now, when did you start Flamingo Beauty Bar? Like, how long ago did you start that?
I started Flamingo Beauty Bar in 2018.
Okay.
Yep, the beginning of 2018, I started it. So it's been a slow start because I was still working at my 9 to 5. So I was kind of giving life to my business on the weekends and on the side. So yeah, 2018.
Right. And that's what I tell people, because I know that most of us hate 9 to 5s for certain reasons, but you have to work a 9 to 5 to fund that entrepreneurial dream before you just jump out there. So that's
Amen.
really important. Now, before we get to my other questions, as far as Flamingo Beauty Bar, tell us exactly what Flamingo Beauty Bar is. Like, what does it consist of? What are your services?
Flamingo Beauty Bar is a whole experience, child. So with Flamingo Beauty Bar, I offer microblading, micro shading, combo brows, brow tinting, waxing, anything to do with the eyebrows, I can do it.
Okay.
I have a luxury eyelash line. I feel like if you have brows, you have to have lashes. So
Right.
I feel like they go hand in hand. So
And your lashes
um,
are beautiful, so I know you're rocking Flamingo.
beautiful. Thank you.
And
These
so are
are
your eyebrows. So clearly, looking at your eyebrows, you know how to do eyebrows. But what was your training like, as far as like how long did you train? Were you nervous when you jumped out there? Like, were you? Because I just feel like, of course, I took a lash class or whatever. I got certified in lashes, but I had thought about doing microblading before lashes, but I was just scared. I'm like, Lord, if I mess somebody up, you know what I'm saying? So, like, how was that? How was your training, and how was your first? Do you remember your first experience? Can you recount your first experience doing someone's
yes.
brows?
Whew. Okay, microblading is very intimidating because of the fact that in order to even become a microblader, I had to become a certified tattoo artist. So no, I don't do tattoos. I cannot draw. But I had to get the education as far as dealing with the skin, and you have to be certified through the health department because it's serious. You're dealing with bloodborne pathogens, things like that. So training was literally, I want to say training was 2 days, literally 2 days. So the first day you go in there, you do all the book work, you get all like the education behind you, you learn a little bit about color theory, and the next day you're doing a model. So it was like, it was very intimidating. But the good thing about it was is where I did my training, which I love. Shout out Jador. I love
Okay.
them. I actually joined because of the training was so short, and then you kind of on your own after that. What I decided to do was I reached out to. She's actually the owner of the salon, and she was actually my trainer. And I asked her, could she be my mentor? Because one thing I had to, you have, when people learn things, you have to realize that, okay, I have to continue to educate myself. I have to
Absolutely.
continue to learn, and you want to surround yourself around people that are that's willing to help you to do that. So she was very, very nice, and that's like my go-to person for everything.
Good.
Um, yeah, because it's like, it's scary because it's literally a 2-day training, and then you're thrown out there, and it's like, okay, I have to find clients, I have to find somewhere to work. It's like, it's still so much to learn, even though you got that knowledge in those 2 days. It's
Right.
still a lot to grasp. So it's like, it depends on the person. The person has to want the education, want to learn more, and you just have to find ways to continue to get that so that you can be good at what you do.
Now, you already know, to me, I feel like you already know how to do makeup. I mean, looking at your makeup, looking at your brows. So clearly, you already had some type of experience doing brows, because it's hard to shape your own brows. So,
Mhm.
seeming as though you, to me, already knew how to do that. Do you feel like that made it a little bit easier for you as far as the brow mapping? I know brow mapping is totally.
Yeah. You would think, that's the funny part about it, right? You would think, and I think before, when I decided to do the microblading, exactly what you just said, I was like, okay, I already know how to draw some eyebrows on. I'm gonna be fine. I got this. But it's completely different. Like the brow mapping for me, that's the craziest thing. That was the hardest thing for me. Like the
Yeah.
actual microblading and the hair strokes, that wasn't hard. The brow mapping, because it's like once you map these brows and you start to create the shape, this is what this person's brow is going to look like. So if that part's
Right.
not on point, the rest of it's not going to be on point. So for me, that part was a little difficult, and I thought that was going to be the easiest part. So like in the beginning, that's what took me the longest, was actually like creating the shape. So it's just intimidating because everybody's face is different, and you
Exactly.
want to set realistic expectations for the client as well, you know.
Well,
So
okay, so you started in 2018, we're in 2020.
mhm.
So it's been about what, a year and a half, 2 years at this point, 2 years. How comfortable, of course, I'm assuming you have way more confidence now than two
Mhm.
years ago doing brows. But do you still think, because I feel like even though it's been 2 years, I'm sure when you look at your work today from 2 years, you're still gonna be getting better. Like
Mhm.
the more people you do, I'm assuming, you get better and better.
Yes. So it's just like anything. What's the word I'm looking for? Like repetition
Hmm.
and consistency. It's like that's what's going to help your work get better. Like I said before, I'm all about continual education. I want to be the best that I can be. My
Hmm.
mentor actually, and it's so funny. Right before I talked to you, I was in a training. She just started
Okay.
what do you call it? Apprenticeship program. So as soon as I
Oh,
found out about it, I'm like, yeah, I've already been doing this for about a year and a half, but sign me up. So that's the way for
absolutely.
me to, strengthen my skills, learn more about color theory. So it's like, I want to be that person that's continuing to learn and, be better, because eventually I want to educate as well. So I'm trying
Hmm.
to learn everything I can. So that's why I say, it doesn't matter what a person does. It's like, you have to continue your education. You have to
Hmm.
continue to learn. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so it has gotten a lot better from the beginning, but it's like, I want to be the best. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, like we said before, you were doing the dental assistant thing. And I know recently you decided to go full throttle and you're doing your business full time. So when did you decide to quit your 9 to 5? And what was the pivotal moment or event that made you be like, you know what, listen, I'm about to step out on faith. I'm about to do that, because I know it's hard, because I quit my job last year, and let me tell you, it was hard, because you're going from getting a guaranteed check to, it's up to you whether you get a check, or you know what I'm saying? It's not a
Right.
guaranteed check when you are. So what was the pivotal moment for you?
I would say that this pandemic had to be that moment for me. I had a lot of, girl, when I say I had to stay prayed up this whole time, like
Yeah.
during this time, it really just shows you that, okay, you go to work every day. I work for an amazing employer. Like when I say I loved all the people I work with, I got to a place where I realized I was starting to be comfortable there because my job got to the point where it was so easy that I was bored, you know, and I wasn't being challenged. There was no room for advancement. And it's like, I was there for 5 years, and this is probably the first job I've ever been at where I didn't get promoted or there wasn't another job for me to do. So I'm one of those people, like I said, I love to learn. I get bored fast. So I have to
You
be
can't
moving
stay
and doing stuff.
stagnant.
I can't. And I realized that I was stagnant for too long. So when this pandemic hit, of course, like, most people were going on unemployment. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were not working. I went a whole month without unemployment. I wasn't getting any kind of compensation from my employer. So it was just that thing where I had to stop. And I was like, wow, all my bills are paid. I have food on the table. I'm able to take care of everything. And I have not received one paycheck.
Oh,
Luckily, I do
wow.
have a husband, So with me being able to see that God got us and I'm good, why am I going to go back to this job and be stuck somewhere I don't even want to be anymore? And God has already shown me that you got everything you need. So I just use that opportunity to step out on faith. Like when I say I was scared as hell, I was scared as hell. And like I had a little reservation about it. I just kept praying on it. When I say I probably got on everybody's nerves, like I got on my husband's nerves because I'm like, what do you think? What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? And he's like, girl, he's like, I already told you. You asked me one more time because he had already gave me his blessing. But it's just that I'm used to, like you said, I'm used to bringing home a certain amount of money. And I'm used to, we have a 2-income household and I'm used to being able to travel. I like to do stuff. So it was like one of those situations where I'm like, okay, you're about to have to take a big, big sacrifice. Are you willing to take the sacrifice? Like when I say I don't even have nails on right now, the sacrifice is real. So it was just like, I prayed on it and just talked to God. My husband gave me his blessing. I was just like, what do I have to lose? I'll feel worse if I continue to stay somewhere that I'm no longer growing and I don't know what could have been, or I didn't put my all into my own business. So when I looked at it from that perspective, I was just like, it was a no-brainer. I just had to do it.
Yeah, because, and you mentioned your husband and support, and I thank God that you have a husband where you do have that support. And I'm going to be honest, if it wasn't for my boyfriend, I would not have been able to quit my job. You know what I mean? So that support is crucial and detrimental, and we just have to be thankful because there are some people who do want to go full throttle and they don't have that support, and they can't do that. But I know that now you're doing this full time, and I know you prayed on it a lot, but I just wanted to know, were there any other steps that you took before you decided to step out on faith? I know yours was kind of like a spontaneous decision, but I know like some people, they may know 6 months ahead. So they'll, 6 months of savings and stuff like that. But I'm assuming you weren't able to do that because the whole pandemic thing, and it was kind of a spontaneous type of decision.
So for me, it was spontaneous because it's so crazy. I already told myself going into this year, I was like, Kenyatta, this is going to be your last year at your job. Because sometimes we don't put dates or time frames on ourselves. It's like, you just let it go. You let it flow. And I was like, you know what? I know I need to invest all my time into my business. So I'm not going to stay here another year. I kept telling myself that, but I never gave myself a date. So it was spontaneous, but I did have a little money saved up because like even with me still working my 9 to 5, like on the weekends and stuff, I still do microblading.
Right.
I have my lash line. So I'm still selling eyelashes. So I'm still making money. So all the money I make, I put right back into the business. So I still had a little bit of a cushion, but it wasn't enough for me to just say, oh, I'm good. I don't need this job. It was like literally me stepping out on faith. So I didn't really do a lot of preparation. It was just that I know I did tell myself this was my last year at my job. But yeah, I didn't even really have a chance to. And another thing, upon me leaving, a lot of it was like a mental as well, because I mentally was not ready to go back to work. Like I lost my grandfather during the pandemic due to coronavirus. I lost an aunt. So it was just a lot going on and not being able to go home and see family. Like I'm still grieving, and I just couldn't even picture myself going to be in an environment that I didn't want to be in. I just felt like for my mental stability, I couldn't even fathom it. So I feel like that played the biggest part in my decision. It was just like, during this pandemic, a lot of people lost a lot of loved ones. You don't even know who's going to be here by the end of the year. So I just told myself, you know what? I want to live on my own terms, and I'd rather take my chances doing stuff that I want to do versus me having to go back to work, put myself in danger to go work for someone else's business. So that for real, that was like, that's what it was for me. That's what I made.
Girl, honey, that was a word. And we are going to talk about mental health a little later down the line, because that is that's a big thing, you know, whether you're working for someone or working for yourself. So we are going to talk about that. But I know you mentioned that you sell lashes. So lash extensions is like so popular. That's how I started. I did lash extensions first, and then I decided to go to esthetician school to become an esthetician. So did you ever think about doing lash extensions? And if so, what made you choose to do microblading versus lash extensions?
I didn't think about doing lashes extensions. It's still something I'm gonna take on.
Okay.
I'm gonna eventually do both. But for me, I looked at the profit that you make from doing microblading, and just for the time that it takes to do lashes, the time that it takes to do microblading, you're gonna make more money doing eyebrows.
Okay.
You can make $500 off one set of eyebrows. So for lash extensions, you're probably spending the same amount of time to probably get paid maybe $200 at the most. And that depends on where you are. Because now the market here for the eyelashes is a little bit saturated because everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So it's starting to be like that. So I'm starting to see where people only charging $99 for lashes or even $75. So, and I know it's still pretty time consuming.
Girl,
so me,
it is.
So I was looking at it from that perspective. It's like, but it is still something I'm going to learn how to do, and I'm going to still do it. But
yeah, because it's good. I mean, yeah, it makes sense with your whole business model anyway, and the more services you can offer, the better. So, I know when I first started, I think we lost you. Are you there? All right, guys. So we had a few technical difficulties, but that is what happens when you have to do these quarantine type Zoom things. But we're gonna go ahead and pick up where we left off. So we were talking about your business. My memory is horrible, so I can't remember exactly, but I know we were talking about the business. But I wanted to know, how was it building your clientele? Because I know that was something that was really hard for me, and you have been on it when it comes to marketing. You got your website and everything. I'm so behind, but I know marketing is pivotal. So, you know, how has it been building your clientele?
Building clientele is still challenging because now I'm in a position where I have the time to go at it full force. Before I did it because I work at my 9 to 5. When I get home, I'm like burnt out. I don't even want to look at my phone or my computer. So as far as building clientele, a lot of my customers that I've gotten have been from word of mouth or just like, friends and family. Yeah, a lot of it's been word of mouth. That's actually the best clientele because that means people are seeing your work and they're referring people. So majority of my clientele has been coming from word of mouth. I just started really going hard with marketing and paying for promotions, creating flyers and stuff like that. So I've actually been getting a few people from there, but because of we're just now opening back up with the pandemic and everything, I haven't started back microblading as of yet. So I think I'll probably start accepting the clients next week. But
okay. And well, I might as well ask now. That's a great segue. So I know you said you're gonna start next week. I haven't started back working yet, only because we work in an industry where you're so close, and I'm still so scared. And I think a lot of that has to do with I'm working out of my home, so it's different. Like if I had a studio versus people coming in and out of my house, you know what I mean? That just kind of like. So what are you doing as far as precautions? Are you nervous about that with everything going on? Like opening up next week?
I'm really not, for a number of reasons. Because again, like I was saying before about going back to work, I was working in the dental field. We had to go back to work, and you're in people's mouth. They're sitting there with their mouth open. So that's what I said. If I have to take a chance to work, I might as well do what I want to do. So for me, just taking precautions when clients come in, taking temperatures, making sure people aren't sick. sanitizing. I'm wearing a mask. They're wearing a mask.
Okay.
And then also when booking, like even on my website, there's a list of things that they need to follow. Or have you been in contact with someone that's sick? Like just all the guidelines. So it's just putting guidelines out there to protect yourself as well as protecting the client. And I mean, pretty much that's it, because at the end of the day, we have to get back to work. I mean, this pandemic it's ruined a lot of people's lives, and it's taken over. So it's kind of like at some point it's never going to be back to normal, but we have to just find ways to make it safe, or to be safe, so that we can work. But I'm really not nervous, because I mean, I've been protecting myself. So I would hope that if someone does book an appointment, they're honest, and that they've been being safe. But
and then you coming from the medical field, and you guys were kind of working through the pandemic, that probably has also kind of made you feel a little more secure, because you have been doing it before. So like you said, if you're going to do it for someone else, why not take a chance and do it for yourself? But it sounds like you have all your precautions and everything, and that's my thing. As long as you're safe with it, you're good. I'm thinking for myself, possibly July. Like I said, if I had my own space, I would be down. You know what I mean? But having that traffic in and out of my, apartment. But I was thinking about possibly trying to see if I can find me a space. It's just that it's just so expensive, and like I said, I was just starting to just open up my books and market when all of this happened. So my biggest thing is like, okay, if I do go get a space, I don't really have the clientele to pay for it right now. So yeah, I'm thinking about that. But let's talk a little bit more about microblading. So what exactly is microblading? Because I know that there's microblading, there's micro shading. So can you kind of explain what's the difference, and do you do both?
Yes. So I do all of the bladings and shadings. The difference is traditional microblading is when you're creating hair. We have a small micro needle that we use, and you're creating hair strokes. So it's going to have like a natural flow of eyebrows. So if you see anyone with microblade, like traditional microblading, it's just going to look like natural hair. Micro shading is more of a like pretty much how my brows look now. You would just.
I was just gonna say that.
My brows are microbladed, but I have makeup over them now, so you can't really tell. But when I'm not wearing makeup, I have full eyebrows. The micro shading is just going to give you more of a full, like more of a made up look. Also do a combo brow. A combo brow is when you have a combination of microblading in the front, and then you have micro shading on the end. So it gives you more of a natural look, but then you have that full made up look.
Now, which one do you have? You have combo or?
No, I have microblading. I just have traditional microblading.
So when it comes to, okay, because I know that you could do microblading, you could do micro shading, combo. Like, how do you decide which one to do on the person? Or is that something more so the client comes in? Or can you recommend?
I can most definitely recommend by looking at someone or what their brow situation is. Like if they have a fuller brow, maybe they don't have tails, maybe they don't have hair in the beginning. So I can always recommend what I think will be best for them. But most of the time, the client will know what they want, because it just the microblading, the shading, it's just those are just different techniques. Okay. So it just depends on the person's preference, like what they like. Do they want it to look like they're about to go out and they're red carpet ready every day,
right?
Or do they just want a more natural brow where no one would even know they have it? So
and that's what I was going to ask you, like which one. I assume microblading looks more natural, and I assume micro shading or the combo gives you like that makeup look.
Yes. Yeah, microblading is definitely more natural because it literally just looks like hair strokes. Like it looks like if it's done right, it's gonna look like hair. With the micro shading, it still looks beautiful. It just depends on the person. Like if you're a person that wear like makeup all the time, or you just always done up, then micro shading might be better for you, because that way you're gonna have a full brow. Like for me, I have traditional microblading, but I don't wear makeup every day. So like I love lashes. So like I will go bare face with just lashes on. So then my eyebrows just look naturally full. So when I do a full face, I may just go over them with the eyebrow pencil just to give them a fuller look, because it kind of looks weird to me personally. Like if you have on a full face of foundation and then your brows are kind of, it's like they'll look more faded because it's just a natural look. Whereas the The shading is going to give you that full, like, dead brow 24/7.
Okay. Now, I've seen some people who get microbladed and it looks kind of grayed out. Is that more so because the person who did it wasn't very educated in color, or how does that happen?
If it's microblading, that probably just means that they need a touch up. Like, for instance, my brows are going on 2 years and I haven't had a touch up. But if I don't have any makeup on, I still have full brows. But if you look at them really close, it starts to like fade, because what it is that microblading is a semi-permanent tattoo.
Okay.
So it doesn't go down to the dermis layer of the skin. It's more so sitting on the top of the skin.
Okay.
So it slowly fades. And I think that's the best part about it. So say, for instance, if you went to someone and they jacked up your brows, or you wasn't in love with the shape, once it's time for your touch up, it kind of gives the artist the chance to like recreate that brow. If the client wants to go darker, if you want to tweak the shape, because it's not permanent and it's going to slowly fade, you kind of just let it run its course and you can get it redone. It's not like you're not stuck with it like a tattoo. Now, some people's skin retains the pigment a lot better than others. Like if you have oily skin, if your skin is naturally oily, then you may not retain the pigment as much. And that's probably what you're referring to, because if someone has really oily skin, you're not going to retain as much pigment. So theirs may look lighter versus someone who has drier skin. Like if you're dry in the T-zone, you're going to have those brows for a while. So they're going to be more prominent and they'll be darker.
Now, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but so you were saying that you need a touch up. So what's the upkeep and like maintenance of, like, do you get them done and then come back in 6 months or once a year? And is there any at-home maintenance the person needs to do?
Nope. Microblading is probably, and I'm not just saying this because I do brows, but it's probably one of the best investments you can ever invest in. Especially if you're one of those girls that like you don't want to do your brows every day. It's time consuming. Once you get your initial brows, you come back in 6 weeks for your touch up. So initially, you're probably going to do 2 visits. So if I was to do your brows today, I will see you in 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, you'll do your touch up. If you retain a lot of the pigment, I probably won't see you for another year. So it can last up to 2 years. That just depends on the person's skin. Like I stated, mine are already 2 years old. I still have brows. They're just light. They're getting lighter. If a person is more oily, they may get a touch up in 9 to 10 months. But then you still have that time frame where you have brows and you have to do anything to them. You would just do your normal maintenance, your plucking, waxing, whatever.
And that was what I'm gonna ask. Like when it comes to waxing, so you can still wax even though you have microblade, even though you have the semi-permanent. But is there a certain time frame you should wait before you wax your brows?
No, you would just do normal. So like as long as you're past that healing period, so it takes most people like that first 2 weeks, you're going to be going through your healing period. So you wouldn't even have any new hair that soon unless you're just a new hair person. So after they're fully healed, you would just do your normal brow grooming. The good thing about it is you'll already have your shape. So you're just cleaning up outside of that shape. So you don't really have to do anything. Just clean up the hair.
Okay. And who would you say is the ideal candidate for microblading or micro shading? Like what type of girl is going to benefit from that?
I would say a girl that, what I found, a lot of my clients that that seek to get microblading done or micro shading, they're the ones that actually don't even wear makeup all the time, but they want to have brows, or they may have really thin brows and they're not good at drawing them on, or it take them a long time, or they don't always look even or look nice. So like someone who doesn't want to spend the time drawing them on, someone who's looking for a more permanent solution, that would be like the ideal candidate. And of course, as far as health, there are other things that probably would prevent a person from getting them. Like if they have like diabetes, if they have any skin diseases or irritation around the skin or the brow area. So usually I do a consultation. I go over those things with people so that way I can see if they are candidates before we even start the process.
Wow, because I'm sure there's some people, and that's cool that you mentioned diabetes, because that's something that I didn't know and something I didn't think of. Because I guess people with diabetes, when they get a wound or a sore or something like that, it heals differently. But I'm sure there's probably people with diabetes out there getting microblading though.
Yeah. Well, if a person knows their situation, like for instance, when you do, because of course, like anything, you go to the doctor, you do consent forms, we ask those questions.
Right.
So if I have someone that knows that they have it, what I would do is have them get a clearance from their doctor. So if they're clear for their doctor know what the procedure is, then we can move from there. But then you do, like, the scary thing about it is, like, there's a lot of people that have health issues that don't even know they have these issues.
Mm,
So, like, that's another thing. But that's why us as professionals, we have to know what questions to ask. You know,
right.
and really be detailed and make sure that the clients have a good understanding. My favorite client is a person that's already educated and know about microblading. If I talk to a person and they're asking me I love when people ask me questions. Like, I don't mind giving them the information or the knowledge. But as far as them coming to me for the service, if they already know, that means that they've already been looking at my work. They've been on Google. They've been researching. They know it's something they really want to get. Those are the best clients because they're sure. Versus if you feel like you have to convince somebody or they still feel unsure, I don't touch those people because I need
Right.
you to be sure because this is a tattoo.
Exactly. And guys, speaking of that, before you guys get any type of services done, even if it's something simple as lash extensions, where some people can't get lash extensions, so you should always do your research, especially if you're going to do something like that. Always do your research, always know what you're getting into. Now, I know I'm not that great with pain. I have a few tattoos. I know it's semi-permanent tattoo. I know you have yours done. What is the pain scale like? And do you guys use any numbing cream and like how long does it take?
Um, the procedure takes about 2 hours, but that includes, like, we do numbing, so you're not being microbladed for 2 hours straight. That includes prep time.
Okay.
So what I do is when I first see a client, I clean the brows, I do a topical numbing. So that way it kind of gets the outside of the skin a little bit numb. So once I start to microblade and after I do the first pass, I add more numbing. So I use a liquid numbing that goes inside the skin. And that's when the person is like completely numb.
Okay.
As far as pain, I think I have a high pain tolerance. So it wasn't something that was unbearable or painful. And it's so funny because you have so many people that have a million tattoos. And then they're like, oh no, I can't do microblading. And I'm like, and I don't have any tattoos, but it almost feels like little scrapes, like little scratches.
Okay.
So that's like, to me, that's what it felt like, if someone just kept scratching you. But you
Now,
only feel that for the first few minutes.
okay. Now I know for me, like, because of course you know I do makeup too. But one thing that I hate is when someone comes to me and they get their makeup done and they're like, oh, here's a picture. I want my brows like this. And I'm just like, those brows may not look right on you. Like, you may not look right with Kim Kardashian brows. I'm going to do your brows based off your natural brow and your bone structure. So since you're doing brows, I'm sure people probably come in with pictures of other brows that they like. How do you handle that situation? Like, do you give the client what they want? Or are you like, okay, listen, we're going to do the best we can, but in order for it to look nice, we're going to do it based off your brow. So how do you handle clients like that? They're like, I want this, and you know their face cannot handle
Unachievable.
that.
For me, like, I like when clients show me pictures because that way I can kind of gauge what their expectations are or what they're trying to achieve. So I'm always completely honest with the client. Depending on what their brow situation is, no matter what, you're going to leave with better brows than what you came in with. So we do look at pictures and things like that, but I go with the natural anatomy of the face. Of course, we measure the brows to make sure they start where they should start, make sure they end where they should end. And before we start, we do mapping, of course. So with the mapping, that gives me a chance to draw the shape so that way I can show the client before we even start what the brows look like. So before I start microblading, they have to approve the shape. Like, they say they love it, we start. They don't, then we work on something that we can collectively agree on together. Because like you stated, there's no way to give you Kim K brows. Your face isn't shaped like that, you know? So, I mean, so at that point, it's kind of like, okay, this is what we can do. And
Okay.
they have to give me the go ahead before we start. So that way I can make sure that they're going to like the brows. So it's a collective thing. Like, you have to work with the client on that
Right.
part.
Okay. So you guys do oh, so you guys do a tracing first so they can see what they're gonna get before they get it.
Absolutely. And they have to
Okay.
confirm that shape before we get started. Because I want them to, you know, like it. And that gives them a preview of what they'll look like.
Exactly. Listen, my hats off to you, honey, because I was just like, this is too semi-permanent. I don't want to mess nobody up. Like, my biggest fear as an esthetician is like messing up somebody's skin, which you can do. That's why I like you say, you got to have those consultations. I'm always doing my research, always learning. Or, I mean, makeup, okay, if they don't like it, you can always take it off. But even lash extensions, if they don't like it, you can always take it off. But the brows, honey, I don't think I can do it. I'd be nervous. Like, I haven't had a troublesome client yet, but I know it's gonna come. And I'm just so nervous about it. Like, have you had a bad client yet? Because you know it happens. Or have you had a complicated client that
I've had 2 so far. But you know what I noticed? This is the funny thing. I've had 2 complicated clients, but they were not complicated to me directly. Like, I'm one of those people, I have thick skin. My feelings do not get hurt easily. And also I'm in a position where I'm trying to perfect my craft because yes, I am skilled. I do know what I'm doing, but I know everybody can always be better. And that's what I'm trying to continue to do. So I'm always one of those people like, hey, be honest. If it's something you do not like, please tell me. I'm not going to get offended. I want to give you what you want to the best of my abilities. So you have those people that'll be like, yeah, everything's fine. But then when they go home, they may talk to their mom, sister, boyfriend, husband, and then it's a totally different situation. So it's like, I gave you an opportunity for us to correct this or for you to give me your feedback so I can try to give you what you want. So for me, I had 2 difficult clients, but they were so nice and sweet. They were not difficult to me, but they end up contacting the spa where I work and then like, hey, but it was like not even anything negative or anything towards me. It was just like, yeah, I think I want my brows darker or they faded, or it's like you have some people that like with microblading, you have to explain the process. Like the healing process is crazy. Like you're literally gonna have scabby brows. Like your brows are gonna start peeling and falling off at some point. So it's like no matter how much you explain that to some people, it's like you never even mentioned that to them. So when their brows start falling off or going through the healing process, it's like, okay, I went over all this with you. I even have post-op instructions, like for aftercare instructions for them to take home with them. So, but to answer your question, I did have 2 difficult people, and they didn't complain to me directly. They complained to the spa. So I kind of went out my way to try to contact them to see what I can do to help. And it wasn't even an issue where they didn't like their brows. It was just like little minor stuff, but it was stuff that they could have told me at the appointment.
Right.
So that part was kind of annoying because it's like we could have avoided all of this.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you reach out to them personally, and customer service is great. And it seems like you are definitely heading in the right direction with your business. It seems like your customer service is on point. You educate them, you know, that's on point. But have you ever thought about using Groupon? Like, because I hear a lot of good and bad stuff about Groupon. Because I had thought about using Groupon to build clientele, but then I heard Groupon takes out so much of a percent. And then no shade to anybody who uses Groupon, because I love a deal and I have been known to use Groupon. But a lot of people who use Groupon are people who are always looking for a deal, always looking for the hookup. And sometimes they can be like the worst clients from what I've heard. So did you ever think about Groupon?
I don't think I've made it that far to venture off into like promoting on Groupon. I don't think it's a bad idea. The only thing about like for what we do when you're in the beauty industry, you always want to build that value on your services. So it's like you said, when you get those people from Groupon, they may not be return customers, or they may not be people that come back and support the business because they only came because you had that Groupon. So I personally haven't crossed that bridge. I'm not going to say I wouldn't ever use Groupon, but I feel like there's a lot of other great ways to market to the people that you want to service. So I would probably just explore other options before I made my way to Groupon.
Right.
I do love Groupon too, though.
Groupon and Amazon, honey. So I know earlier you mentioned mental health and how, you know, the passing of family members. My condolences, of course, for that. And how you just couldn't fathom going back to work, which made you kind of take that leap of faith. And I know for me, which I do have a video on my channel discussing the because I was in corporate America and how my mental health just suffered so much. And me and you have talked about this. We talked about this, last year when we was at Cordero's house and we was eating on some greens and macaroni and cheese. Yes. And I think I was still at my job at that time. I think I had started doing lashes, but I was just telling you what I was going through and my mental health, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And so for me, mental health is really important. I had to go to therapy and stuff like that. But one thing that I found that coincides with mental health is friendships. Like when I first started my business, I know I had a friend that was just very discouraging. It was just like, why you trying to do lash extensions? They so expensive. Ain't nobody gonna pay all that for that. Ain't nobody finna pay for that. And it's like, okay, well, there's a market for everyone. And there's girls that are paying $200 for lash extensions. It depends on, where you're trying to market your business. You got to think, who is your ideal client? What's the woman that you're trying to market to? But for the most part, majority of my friends and family were supportive, but I did have some people who weren't that supportive. So, and I had to cut those people off because one thing I had to explain to them is when you have your own business, your mental health is so fragile. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard sometimes to find the motivation and you need positive people around you. So how has your experience been as far as support and your mental health?
Everything you say, you just hit it spot on. It's so crazy though, because that's something that I often think about and I have to take a minute. Like I'm the type of person, like when I say, I probably pray 3-4 times a day, like just to say thank you. Because I have moments where I'm like, wow, I'm really thankful. And this time has really showed me what type of friends I have, what type of families I have. When I say the support I have and how hard my friends and family go for me, like sometimes I'm taken back, like, wow, like the people that supporting, like, hey, I don't even wear lashes, but yet I want to buy your lashes. And I'm just like, okay. So it's like my support has been amazing. And I didn't expect this because it's like when I was in the first beginning stages of my business, I'm one of those people that I don't really talk about stuff a lot, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, because I don't ever want to be one of those people where if it doesn't happen when you thought it was going to happen, you don't want people looking at you like, well, girl, you've been said that.
Right.
How are you supposed to start this business? So I kind of kept stuff under wraps. So once I did start to promote and tell people about it, I thought I was going to run into that. And I kind of had a bad experience with one of my friends, but I think I probably read too much into it. But I was prepared because everybody was always saying like, oh yeah, this is going to show you who your real friends are, who got your back. And it's like a part of me was like kind of putting my armor on, waiting to see, okay, who about to hate, who about to say something negative, who not about to support me. It was like, I wasn't expecting that, but I was kind of like trying to toughen my skin up just in case I had to deal with it. And like, to my surprise, when I say the support has been amazing, my family, my friends, like it feels so good. And for me personally, like, as far as my mental health, that does give me the motivation and strength to keep going, because it lets me know, like, you got a team of strong people behind you that's rooting for you, that's supporting you. So it's nowhere to go but up from here. So for me personally, like that keeps me going, because my experience so far has been really good. I'm not gonna lie, I do have those days where, because I'm not working my 9 to 5 anymore, and you get used to that structure and that schedule that you have. So I do have days where I'm like, okay, Kiana, what do you have planned today? You cannot sit here and be lazy. You have to have some structure. So I'm trying to figure out how to create that structure for myself right now. And some days I'm just like, I don't even know where to start. Like, you have those days, like, what should I be doing today? Or what do I do next? So I just try to stay grounded and plan. One thing I did buy, I'm going to show you this. I don't know if I showed you this already. This has been like my Bible. Like, this book is the truth. I don't even know if you can see it.
Oh, no.
I love this. I'm going to have to see in a link. It's called Business Minded. This book is the truth. It's like a whole like layout of like, if you haven't got your LLC, if you haven't got
that's awesome.
It's kind of like just, it's like, it gives you like a checklist, a to-do list of things like to work on for your business. And it kind of helps you structure your business plan and stuff like that.
Girl,
so like that book has
that.
been my Bible.
Yeah, please send me that, because I started working on my business plan last year. Well, I have a long business plan that I was working on. And one thing I've noticed, your business plan is forever changing. I know
Yeah.
my business plan has changed multiple times since then. So definitely send me that link. But like what you were saying about support is very important. And that was one of the reasons that I decided to start this series and create this series, because I want to give a voice to, women that are doing their thing, because people try to say that women, black women in particular, don't support each other. But that is not true, because going to esthetician school, I made a lot of friends that are doing the same thing I do. We support each other. And I just wanted to, eventually, I always said, even before I started my business, I said I wanted to start doing like a monthly brunch just to bring different women together, just so women can find support in each other. Because I feel like Black women don't get support. Like, we don't get it from Black men. We damn sure don't get it from America. So we have to support each other. And
That's
so
true.
that's what my channel is all about, just supporting Black women. And that's why I really wanted to do this, just to shine light on others and support others. And it's funny because going to school, it's like when I went to esthetician school, all of us are going to school to be an esthetician. But you would think that we were in competition with each other, but we really weren't in competition with each other. A lot of us, the girls that I connected with. And it's funny because one of the girls was like, well, it's collaboration over competition. And I love that. Like, I love the idea of collaborating. And even though, I'm doing something that one of my other esthetician friends may be doing, I still support her. I still shout her business out, because what's for you is for you. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? So
It's
I
nothing
want to know, like, how do you deal with, because surprisingly, with me dealing with mental health, this hasn't really been an issue for me, but I know it can be an issue for some people. So how do you feel about, I don't know if you follow other microbladers, but does that ever get to you? Like, if you follow someone, they have more followers than you, they've been in the game longer than you, their work is a little bit more polished. Like, do you find yourself internally competing, or do you just try to not follow those type of people and block those people out of social media? Like, how do you deal with the pressures in social media?
For me, I have the same attitude and mindset that you have. Like, I want to see everybody eat. It's enough money out here for all of us. So as far as social media, I follow a lot of, like, if you go through my like who I follow, half of the people I follow probably are
Oh,
microbladers.
wow.
I love to see other people's work, because even though I might not know this person, I admire other people's work, and I'm like, wow, okay, how can I get on her level? I'm not competing with her. I can probably learn something from her.
Right.
What can I take from this person? That's like, I'm even I connect with other people that's in the same field I'm doing, like that I'm in, and see like, hey, do you train with people, or can you show me that technique? I'm that type of person. And it's so crazy because I've also had people reach out to me about, they want to start selling lashes, or do I train? And I'm just like, whew, I ain't even made it that far yet. But it's still it's very flattering. So it's like, I'm all about helping each other out. Like, let's empower each other. Like you said, let's build each other up. So I most definitely follow other people's work. I love to see other microbladers work. I love to see like what techniques they use. I want to know, how long did it take you to do it? Because if
Right.
anything, that's showing me that, okay, this person has a particular standard that they're working at. I could probably be even better than what I'm doing. So it's not a competition like in a negative way, but it's like more so for me to continue to better myself. And then also you need to know what the competition is, like to see what other people are doing, because you can't just operate in a world like just a world by yourself, because other people doing what you do. So you need to know what's going on. But I most definitely follow other people, and I like their pictures, everything. Like, I don't hate on nobody. And I
Right.
just feel like you're confident in your lane. And when you're
Mm-hmm.
not a hater, when you do support other people, that you're gonna get that back in return. So I just feel like somebody doing the same thing I do, that doesn't take away from me.
Right.
So,
So when do you do, I know you foresee yourself teaching. How long do you think you're going to give yourself before you start teaching? Or like, do you see yourself teaching in like a year?
I foresee myself probably teaching by the end of this year. Like, I'm trying to expedite everything right now. Like, I'm so excited with my new journey, because now I have, like, my business has my full attention. So I'm
Yep.
ready to just jump in head first, like every day grinding. So I'm probably going to start teaching by the end of this year.
I
And I'm
definitely
like,
can see that. And that's gonna bring you some money too.
yes, girl. And plus, I love people, so it's like I like meeting new people. I don't like when I even have strangers hitting me up asking me questions about stuff. I'm not one of those funny acting people, like, because you have so many. And I've reached out to other people about things like I recently just added brow tinting. So I was trying to figure out like what's good products to use, what's not good products, and like people don't like to share information with me
Mm-mm.
because they feel like it's gonna take for them. I don't know, but I'm not that kind of person. So like, I don't mind sharing information because I feel like me helping somebody is not gonna take from me, you know. So definitely, I think by the end of the year, I'll probably start teaching. I'll probably start off just small, maybe a few people in, and just continue to grow up from there. Because my ultimate goal is to open my full service beauty bar. So
Okay. Yeah, and I think you'll be a great teacher because you have the personality, you have, a great spirit because there are a lot of people out here teaching lashes, teaching microblading stuff, and they got a damn attitude. You know what I'm saying? And I can't deal. So I think just your attitude and your spirit, is gonna attract a lot of students. And it seems like you're patient and stuff like that. So I think you'll be a great teacher. I know you mentioned a full service beauty bar is the goal. So the future of your business, as far as a full service beauty bar, what does that consist of to you?
As I stated before, when clients come in, I want it to be a whole experience. So I want to offer Botox. Of course, you'll be able to get brows, lash extensions. When you walk in, you walking into a glass of champagne, honey. Like I want it to be like the full
Yeah,
experience. Facials, just like a spa. Like for instance, like when you have a girls' day, you and your girls can come and get everything done. You know, so I
yep,
just
in
wanted
one
to
place.
just be like, yeah, just like a place where you can just come and get everything. But I want to offer high-end services and the quality of the services we provide and stuff. I want it to just be like the best.
So I'm
So
assuming the plan is not to be a one-man show. So you do plan on in the future hiring employees.
yes, I do. Um, Essentially, at some point, I want, because like I said, I want to open a location in Detroit. So at some point, that I do want it to be a well-oiled machine to where once I get everything running and staffed, I'm probably gonna just probably focus on teaching at that point. I'll probably have my particular clientele that I show up for and do things for. But I
Okay.
really want to focus more once everything is up and running on teaching.
Okay. So, and as far as school, because I know you and I have had private conversations about esthetician school, and you recently told me that you decided to start school. So, what
Yes.
made you come to that decision, and how soon are you looking to start?
Um, I'll probably start within the next month or so, and
Oh,
after, yeah, what's this? Going into June? I'm probably July because
have
I'm
you
like I
found a
told you,
school?
I did find a school. I haven't started the process yet. The only reason why I have it on pause is because I'm also doing that apprenticeship I told you about. And that's
Okay.
probably going to start in the next 2 weeks. So I don't want to take on too much time because I have to like do a certain amount of hours at each one. So I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm myself.
Right.
Um, but after you and I spoke, it was always in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, I do not want to go back to school because even with microblading, of course, like I took a few microblading courses because you have to like it was different classes for shading, traditional. So it's like I've
Mhm.
still been getting other services under my belt, and I'm going to be offering permanent makeup soon, where I do the eyeliner, lip liner. So I
Oh,
don't know how to do everything. So it's just like everything is like a separate course. So just the thought
yeah.
of esthetician school, I was like, I do not want to go back to school. But after talking to you, I had it in the back of my mind, and there was a makeup artist that I that I know through other friends. And recently, I was on my way to Atlanta, and me and her were on a plane. Just so happened to sit by each other, and we were talking, and she was telling me about the esthetician school, and she was like, "I think it'll really benefit you to go back."
Hmm.
And when I say her spirit was amazing, like exactly what you and I have been talking about, like she does microblading. She does makeup. She sells eyelashes, but she don't even know me like that. And she's, speaking and breathing life into me like, yeah, you should do this. And also, hey, I train. I don't mind teaching you. And I was just like,
Wow.
wow. Like, I just love that. So, like, just after talking to her, just really confirmed it for me, like, okay, you need to go back to school and get everything under your belt. So that way you can offer, as many services as you can. That way it's just like, I have more to give when I start teaching. And then, I have more services to offer my clients. So that kind of confirmed it for me. And then it was just almost like, it was right when I say a few days after I quit my job, and then I meet her and her and I were talking on the plane. It just kind of confirmed a lot of stuff for me.
Girl,
Like,
listen, let me tell you, God be working, okay? And one thing I have learned, God will send you signs. He will always send us signs, but sometimes we're just blind to the signs. Sometimes we're not in tune with the signs. So, like, when you get in tune with that kind of stuff, you'll know when God is sending you a sign. And I feel like you had just quit your job and you're sitting next to her, and you had already been thinking about it anyway. It's like God had been sending you signs, but he was probably like, okay, let me send you a bigger sign so you can get it. But I'm excited for you. I'm proud of you. I'm excited for your journey, and you're inspired.